Hi, and welcome to the Liquor Connoisseur. I'm Crystal, Roger somewhere, but this is a very special episode with Vanessa Braxton of Black Mama Vodka with us again. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you. Today, we are going to talk about what's going on with Fawn Weaver and Uncle Nearest and that $108 million lawsuit with her creditors that we just learned yesterday has gone into receivership. So we're going to get a
Yeah.
distiller's take on that to see your thoughts.
Well, I'm Vanessa Braxton, um, owner of Black Mama Distillery, GB Distillers. You can see my still right there. Can you see my still? That's the
Oh,
new
it is
still.
shining beautiful. That's the new one?
Huh?
That's the new one?
Yeah, that's the new one. You see how tall? I gotta finish it. We're finishing putting it up probably this week, and I got some countertops coming in. But yeah, that's the new one. That's
That is
that's just
huge.
the tank. I didn't even put the 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 columns yet. They're all on the floor. We
Oh
gotta
my
hoist
God.
it up. Yeah, it's gonna go all the way up.
Well, we'll do a
That's a
part
five.
two so we can see the rest of
I
it.
know. I know. The 500 gallon still. But I know a lot of people have been hitting me up in terms of what's going on. Listen, at the end of the day, it's hard. It's hard in these distiller streets. And the good thing is that I make, I produce.
Mhm.
For something such as that, I mean, I have the same type of loan. It's not 108 million, it's 1.2 million, and it's in the loan documents. You have to meet certain criterias. Submit your financials on an annual, get insurance, and pay it. If you don't pay it, they're going to try to come after you because this is their money. And submitting the financial statements pretty much states the condition of what's going on with the company. I look at my books every 2 weeks because I'm out here hustling. I don't like owing anybody, but it's part of the process when you're taking out a loan. And
Yeah,
it's
and
unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate,
yeah.
but that's part of the business of expanding. For me, this is my second distillery. So I got an expansion loan. I had to. But, you put up the collateral, the building's a collateral or whatever you have is collateral, because they want their money back and they're helping you to make money,
Yeah.
So pretty much, I wish they would have, when you get to that type of scale,
Hmm.
Crystal, you need to be distilling.
Okay.
I don't like the fact that they told people, oh, they're making stuff when they don't make anything. They don't make a single ounce. They source, from Tennessee Distilling Group. You could say it's a partnership or whatever. It's okay to source,
Hmm.
but let people know you're sourcing. But also with that type of money, I would have a still. They should have had a continuous still where they can easily pivot. They can
Hmm.
make vodka. They can make so many different things,
Yeah.
and hire somebody. But with that kind of money, when you're building a distillery and you don't have a still, you're always going to be at the beck and call of sourcing if you don't make anything. And
Yeah.
that's, part of the issue.
Yeah. And margins, they're not as big as people think because of their three-tier system if you don't have direct to consumer, especially if you are not distilling yourself.
Right. Now, the margins are there. You can make money even with sourcing. But when you get to that scale, it doesn't make sense to source because it makes sense to produce because your cost is going to be lower. The larger the amount of liquid, the less it will cost in production. when you're doing that as a continuous still, you'll be doing that like 24 hours a day because it'll be running, and that's once you go over 500 gallons. If you're doing 10,000 9-liter cases, then you're 100,000 gallons, you're still making 32 million. So at the end of the day, as a craft, at the end of the day, it only makes sense to be producing, and when you have a 3-tier, like they have a 3-tier in Tennessee, they have to sell to a distributor in Tennessee. They don't have direct to consumer shipping. Like in New York, we have direct to consumer shipping. We can sell to consumers, not just in our tasting room, but also online directly. And then we can sell directly to the stores, to the retailers and the restaurants directly. We pass those laws. So it allows us to be fluid in keeping that cash flow coming. The other thing is when you're making and you're actually producing, you can create so many different things. You can do bulk spirits for other people, do private labeling. I don't know if you hear the car. You can do, create just different brands. You can do industrial. They didn't take that opportunity because they just stuck with one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, getting to this lawsuit, we just learned that they went into receivership, which means now they're going to have someone appointed by the court to operate the business.
That could be a good thing and a bad thing. Just because it's going into receivership doesn't necessarily mean that they would lose the business. That's if they want to still be the face of the business. I mean, she's a marketeer, right? That's what she's good at doing, marketing.
If they want their money back, I think they're going to have to keep her in front.
But let somebody run the operations. That's what should have been done, because if you're running the operations and let somebody else do the marketing. If you're doing the marketing, you don't have time to do the operations. You know what I mean? I don't have time to do marketing. I have to hire somebody. And because I'm very much involved with the operations, because distilling is real. Yeah. It's the first, you cannot make any liquor without distilling.
Yes. It's a distilled spirit.
That part.
And I think we always go to receivership meaning they're about to pick this apart. And it doesn't always have to mean that. They haven't stated in the documents what it'll mean for this receivership.
I think they can pick. I'm hoping the court will write it, and they can pick someone or somebody who has an operational financial background in running it, and they can still be the face. They'll still be. They won't have control of the operations, from my understanding. Right. But they'll be the face. But who wants to do that? But you can do that because this bank wants to get their money. They even talked about Chapter 11 from my understanding, but they didn't want to do that. I think Chapter 11 would have been good to do a reorg because you're not, businesses suffer. It's just this transitional time. They're in their maybe 7th or 8th year. You go through that. Not necessarily that, but you go through a transition to the next level up or next level down. And you got to realize too, bourbon has become saturated.
Yes.
So 3 years ago, bourbon was $2,500 to $3,000 a barrel. I don't think they try to defraud anybody, but I do.
So this goes into where they say they overvalued the barrels, right?
I don't think they overvalued the barrels. I think when they purchased the values, they purchased it for $2,500 to $3,000 a barrel because that's what it was going for. It's like the stock market.
Hmm.
And now barrels are going for $700 to $1,100. And that's what they're going for because the market is oversaturated. So it diminished the value because the oversaturation. That's going on everywhere. But being that they only just did whiskey, that's
Hmm.
the issue. You just did whiskey. You should have been doing vodka gin, rum, just like what the traditional, I'm not going to say traditional, but just what the other distilleries do when you're laying down. And then they could have been laying their own if they had a still.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
I think that's
If
one
you,
thing to hit on is right now whiskey, like I said, is oversaturated. We've seen so many distilleries go bankrupt or close lately. Does it seem like the bank is closing in because of the industry a little bit?
but you have to realize there's a couple of other things with that. See, people are missing out on, they also owe other creditors.
Mm.
They owe smaller creditors. It's just that the bank is the largest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The bank is the largest, so they're going to take position one. And then what about the investors? When you get a loan that size, you should have paid the investors off. If I get a loan, I have Black Mounties. I have investors, but I'm the major investor, the lead investor, because I have the most money in. But if I get a loan, I'm gonna pay my investors off. I'm gonna pay my investors off, and that normally happens within year 9, year 8, 9, or 10, when there's a transition. Because it's exponential growth. And then she could have came back when this issue came up. Then you could go back to your investors and be like, I need y'all to help me, pay the loan off. But you can't do that when the investors are still outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't pay them off with that 108 million, and she raised a lot of money. I thought it was just 50 million that she raised. Nobody's talking about the venture fund, but it seemed like it was a $108 million loan. And then I don't know, allegedly she raised 250. So that's
Mm-hmm.
350 million. Where's all that money?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot, but it takes a lot to run a successful brand. Um,
Yeah, it does take a lot to run a successful brand, but it takes time. This industry is about time, with liquor. I'm in it, 13 and a half years? It's time,
mhm.
so people are just still finding out about Black Mama Vodka. People are still just finding out about Uncle Nearest.
Yeah.
Tito's, forget Tito's, but just use Tito's. We talk about time because Tito's was in its 17th year of operation,
Hmm.
and then it went ballistic.
Yeah.
Everybody knew about Tito's in the 17th year.
Yeah. Because it started as a craft brand.
Yeah. When I got in, I'm in it now. I'm around, okay, I'm 13 and a half years. I'm going on to my 14th year. When I got into the industry 13 and a half years ago, Tito's was already 10 years old and people didn't even know. This industry is about time, and it takes time to grab that market share. And during that time, you got to have something going on, that's because you're going to spend a lot of money.
Hmm.
And as you grow, you're going to get more money. I always say put money back into the business
Yep.
as a focus and give those financial statements. There's other lawsuits like, Berlin Glass won a judgment of 2.1 million. um, against Uncle Nearest. People are not, there's another company called Bills Up.
Hmm.
They are the PR or advertising company. They're owed 260,000. So there's a lot of creditors. And what's going to happen with the receivership? The bank is going to control, and the creditors. I don't know what happens with the creditors because the bank has to get their money first.
Yes. And then the other creditors, I believe, will be in line to get theirs.
That's why it would have been better for a reorg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's unfortunate, but they're not the only one. Gerard, that's a distillery. I mean, Uncle Nearest is the well-known brand, not distillery brand. They're the largest well-known brand. They're not the largest distillery because they don't have a still.
Right.
So I got to remind people that. So you know, they're a well-known brand. They've become well-known, and even this new news has now made them even more well-known. But the
Yes.
story behind it now is going to be, it's all about fun. It's no longer, they stopped talking about Nearest Green long ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It should be
Yeah.
focused on the brand, and at the end of the day, even though she, is a great marketer, marketing costs money, and there's a price to that. But you gotta get these liquid to lips, and you gotta get the brand into people's hands, and you have to do other things
Yeah.
when
I
you're
mean,
that size of a
even if
distillery.
you get the first sip, you got to figure out how to get the second.
Right. And there's still a lot of, I have a client that I deliver to, we deliver to monthly for years, and I'm still looking at the 1862. He bought everything in support, and he still has it on the shelf, and it's 2.5
Wow.
years later in New York.
Wow.
So that's why it's good to make other things. I have a rhubarb gin. I have,
Oh yeah, I got it
teas.
right here.
You do?
Got that rhubarb right here next to this
Yeah.
peach tea.
You make specific SKUs for specific markets. I
Hmm.
do bulk. I'm gonna do industrial. I do my black and well, because I gotta keep this going. You gotta keep it going, and you gotta constantly look at your books.
Hmm.
You constantly gotta look at your books. It don't matter if the CFO did something. You are the one that's responsible, and you're the one that's signing off. And if you're not signing off on the checks and not signing off on the books, then you're not taking care of your business. You're
That
not
part
taking
about
right.
that
Hmm?
part about blaming the CFO is interesting to me because if you handle that problem, take care of it, where's the lawsuit against Mike? Where is he in all this? Where's his story to
Nothing.
tell?
Well, Mike had, from my understanding, he had a heart attack and then he got fired.
Oh wow.
Some people are saying, oh, he got a heart attack when he got fired. No, he had a heart attack. And then he was still, from my understanding, allegedly still around as of August
Hmm. He's
of
still
last
in
year.
August. Oh, last year. Okay.
So I'm sure he's gonna show up, but you can throw a person under the bus. You are the buck stops at the CEO, even with myself, you know.
And is that
Yeah,
part
you
of the
could have been defrauded. And even if you are defrauded, you're still responsible. And when he got fired, why didn't you just report him?
hmm Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But
And
it
my
was
deal,
just so many different things with this. Hmm?
it definitely goes back to the CEO, but I think it also goes back to the personal guarantee on the loan as well, right?
Yeah, I got the same damn loan. When I got my loan documents, it says, "Do you understand?" Hell yeah, I understand. I understand. If I don't pay your ass, you coming to get everything.
Yeah. Yep.
You coming to get everything. So at the end of the day, you know this, you know it. Even if the CFO overstated the barrels, I don't think that was done intentionally. But your
Right.
CFO is not going to make a move. You're going to say, not going to make a move without you. And even if he did, you still responsible. You
That's
still
right.
didn't, you still didn't make those payments. Because reading the documents, they had 7 tries. It said that they allegedly said 7 tries. They reached
Wow.
out to them because the bank will give you more money. People don't realize commercial loans. If you're getting in trouble, the bank will give you an extension and they'll give you more money. They were actually in forbearance, so it's not like they didn't know. And that's why I'm trying to. I don't understand our community. They're like, oh, they're just trying to take their business. No, no, I don't think so. It's just that the money is not coming in fast enough. So the
Yeah.
bank will extend more money to you based upon your aging receivables, your accounts receivables of how much money you got on the street. But if you're not giving them the financials, they can't, you know what I mean? They're going to take your word for it because that's what commercial lending do.
Yeah. I've
It's
been, I
not
mean,
as rigorous. It's not as rigorous like how when you going to get a personal credit, it really isn't because they know you got assets that they can come after.
hmm
You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we
It's
about to
not.
see with this
They
receivership
really
what assets they going for.
they'll be there to help you. And phone credit is one of the easier, so forgiving type of lender. They, Farm Credit, Live Oak, they will cater to specific industries. Um, Even USDA, farmers, Black farmers credit. They look at the manufacturing industry because they know you need the money, but you got to use the money for what you're saying you're using it for. And even if you do, they still want to see the books. They want to see if it's beneficial. They'll
Yeah.
work with you because they don't want to lose the money.
That's the part I find hard to understand because I've seen some of Fawn's posts where she's like, "Y'all just wait to see what comes out of this. Wait to see, what we do." But it still went
I
to
don't know.
receivership. So,
She do, she doesn't have to be in receivership long.
mhm,
I don't know what it is receivership is receivership. Everybody else is gonna, wait for their money. There's other lawsuits that's coming up. And then there's the investors. So we're gonna see what they're gonna do. But even if they get out of receivership, the brand is tainted. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Unless
I
you
mean,
come out, it's tainted because the news hurts. It
it,
hurts.
it does,
And
and it hurts on all sides, not
yeah,
just the creditors. It hurts the consumer as well.
yeah, but also too, there's only 11. I just found 2 other Black distilleries. There's only like 11 now, 13 Black distilleries, including myself, that actually distill and have a still. I got money for expansion, which is great. I had to take out a loan because I was trying to keep up with the capacity. I paid my still with my cash. This I already paid for that, but it's going to be harder for Black distillers to get money for expansion because of this. Because you don't think they're going to look at us side eye now?
Yeah.
I hope not. And I'm talking about big money, not like micro loans. Like my 1.2 million is small compared to 108 million, but it's still a
Right.
lot. It's a lot
Yeah.
to me. Hmm?
No, you're right. I'm hoping that you can keep it alive. I mean, going in 14 years.
Yeah, I'm keeping that shit alive because I got a different business model.
True. True.
I got 27 different SKUs, different sizes.
But I'm just saying, I think you bring another face to the industry for us. Fawn's the one that everyone is seeing. in this short period of time, but there are others.
Yeah, but I'm the first. See,
You
that's what
are.
people don't realize. I've been here before the fawn,
Mhm.
passing laws so other Black-owned brands can have a brand. So I've been here. You
Yeah.
know, but who started in this industry is Jackie Summers. He's the first Black person to have a liquor license.
Shout out to
Myself,
Sorrel.
I'm the first Black woman distiller, and Chris Denord, he's the first Black actual distiller. The three of us. There wasn't nobody else in 2012. And then we got Painted Stage, their partners. But it was just us.
Hmm.
And we had to fight in order to push laws to help us. Jackie Summers will tell you all day long, Vanessa has been doing, I'm the one that's sitting here passing laws, and I'm not even appreciating it. But it's fine because now you can have a brand and you can come to me. I want people to go to other Black owned brands and go to Black distilleries that actually make, so
There are so many, and I've learned so many from going to Taste of Black Spirits, going on social media. I mean, we've had so many on our brand. We've had you on here with Black Mama Vodka. We've had Jackie Summers with Sorrel. We've got Dawn from New Dawn, Nicole Young with Frisky Whiskey, TK
yeah,
Burton with Red Hazel, and the list goes on. I didn't even touch on the Black Tequila brands. There's like 20.
right,
There's so much variety in what we do,
right.
and you
But
make
you
a
have,
lot.
right. So now you have New England Farm and Distillery, New England Sweetwater Farms and Distillery in um, New Hampshire,
Mhm.
Black family. Then you got Delta Dirt
Yes, that
Distillery,
sweet
which is in
potato.
Arkansas. That's Harvey. You got myself that has two distilleries.
Hmm.
This is the second one. And then I got the other one, which is still there. And then you got Herb, which is in Maryland.
Hmm.
That's Copper Compass.
Striped
And
lion.
then Copper Compass. And then you got I think it's Free State in Maryland.
Okay.
You got Bro Brothers.
Yep.
Oh, how can we forget about Painted Staves, then Delaware, Chris, the North Spirits, which is in Minnesota. Then we also have in Indiana, what's it, 18th Street Distillery in Indiana. Man, Vanessa's naming them off.
I know. I know. We got to meet back when we came to visit you. We got to interview Striped Lion.
Yep, Stripe Line, he's in Jersey.
Hmm.
Then you got another one that I think I tagged you on
Yes.
in North Carolina. You got Loco Rum Distillery. And then you got another one in Louisiana. I
Okay.
forgot the name of the one in Louisiana.
I got some people I need to meet.
Yeah. And then you got what's his name in Pennsylvania? You got Loft Distillery in California. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
hoping I'm not leaving anybody out. But when I started 13 and a half years ago,
Yeah.
we ain't had all of this. It's it's
I'll
good to
say
see.
it's been amazing, and we've interviewed a lot of Black brands, and a lot of them started out of that COVID time. They all started in about 2020, 2021. Which is,
Really.
yeah, yeah. I've noticed a lot of similar stories in a lot of the Black brands we've researched.
Vakila been around for about 13 years, 12, 13 years.
How
Anthony's
long
been
have you been
around. He's a
making that?
brand. Yeah, because now that I make his, he changed, he switched distilleries and he preferred to use my distillery, a Black owned distillery, and then I make Ron Isley from the
Oh
Isley
yeah,
brothers.
that is some good brandy.
Yeah, the Contagious. They're so glad that they're in brandy.
It's good.
So,
I haven't.
yeah.
I need to buy another bottle because he signed my first bottle, so I'm not opening that one.
Well, you gotta go online and get that. Or when you come back, and then I'll be
Yes,
making your brand.
that's right. We are coming soon. We are excited to work with you and get that made because you make amazing products, and I'm still learning all the products you make because it's not just vodka or gin. I got to try your agave spirit while I was out there and
Yep.
found out you have whiskey.
Yeah, I do have a whiskey coming out. It's called, actually, it's gonna come out September 6th. I'm doing a special event. Um, it's called Mahogany, Black Mama Mahogany
Ooh,
Whiskey. It's a master distillers edition, a limited run. So, and then you didn't have my bourbon and my black and well, which I've already started selling in Illinois. Those sold out really quickly. So you'll see it
amazing.
next year. Next year, I'm gonna do. I have a 10 year. I'm waiting until I hit 10 years with the barrel because my barrels are 9 years now, and I'm gonna do a barrel and bond next year, and
I
that's
am.
huh.
Where do I send my money? Just let me just link. Let me just send you a link to my bank account. You just take out
No,
every time you make something. Just
I
take it.
already got the link to you. You're gonna send that when I'm making your brand, girl. Save all of that.
Oh
No,
man.
I mean, I've seen this before in the industry. I'm sure that whatever decision is going to be the right decision. And listen, they can always come up with another brand.
Right.
They can come up with something else later on. They can get through it.
Yeah.
So
I'm
they don't
curious
have to
what.
do Uncle Nearest because Nearest Green is not their name. It's another
Right.
family's name. That's the other thing too.
Right.
And that family, I don't know if they're going to be getting anything for it, but hey,
Yeah.
the story's out there.
I'm curious what the next steps will be with the receivership. I know they have to provide, both sides have to provide documentation by midnight on
Yeah.
August 20th. But that's as far as where they left it. So I'm curious who they'll name, how that will go over with both parties.
Whoever the receiver, it's going to be, whatever it is, it's going to be hopefully an amicable agreement because it's the meeting of the minds. These people
Right.
want their money
Right.
and she wants the brand. Um, this is a bank. This is not investors. This is not, there's so many things you can agree to.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we already know that they're doing 28,000. They can't make the interest payment of 10 million because right now it's just all interest. You still got to owe that,
Yeah.
so they'll work it out, one way or another, it'll be worked out
Yes. Yes.
and
So
we'll be here. But want your fans, I want them to support the other Black owned distilleries that's there because we've
yeah,
been there. We don't, there's other brands and there's other distilleries that actually make.
I think that's something
Yeah.
to note is you can like more than one brand. I'm just
Ah,
gonna point that out. You can
everybody don't
actually
drink whiskey, and just like everybody don't drink vodka,
exactly.
but you can support the business.
That is true. That is very true. We're hoping to get into distribution and help change some of that, bring
You
more of
will.
those Black brands into Oklahoma. I already put some feelers out to see
Okay.
what interest we can get, and I already got interest in that Black and Well.
Girl, I'll be sending it to you.
I got interest without even having a sample.
That's it. Because you gotta move. Listen, let me tell you, I'll be slanging these cases like I'm in the street.
It's true. I've been on a ride along, and it is an experience. You should probably sell that experience as another venture.
True. I've been to plenty ride-alongs, you know. So, but no, it's all good. Definitely. All
All
right.
right.
Now tell people where they can find you. Look.
You can find the Liquor Connoisseur anywhere just about these days. We are on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We have episodes out about every Wednesday on YouTube and Spotify, which also goes into audio only podcasts with Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. So we are everywhere.
Girl, you everywhere. You
Trying to be like you.
everywhere. And you can
So
find
where
Black
are you
Mama.
at?
I'm at Black Mama Vodka on IG, Facebook, Threads. YouTube is Black Mama Brands, as well as on TikTok. I'm not on all the other platforms yet, like the Liquor
Not
Connoisseur,
personally,
but
but we've done a couple of interviews. They'll find you.
oh yeah, I've done a lot of interviews over the years. But this will be our new show. You're gonna find us, I don't know, once a week doing our show, which will be after the Liquor Connoisseur. It'll be a surprise.
I am
Because
ready
it's
and
only the
excited.
good, the bad, and the money.
I need to know it. I need to know it. This sounds like one of those A&E history shows, where they talk about how the
I just thank
history.
God it's not American Greed, okay?
Yeah, that's a whole nother category.
But it'll be the point of view.
All
No, but
right.
it's all good. All right. So you want to do your outro?
I'll do it. All right. Please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, drink to remember, not to forget. Cheers.
Cheers.